Today we are talking about packaging, the most important topic on YouTube that people spend the least amount of time on. It's the reason why good videos get ignored and bad videos get watched. My name is Hitesh. I'm the owner of Anandville, a YouTube agency, and I help creators and brands get this right for a living. So today I'm going to talk about my whole system. And here's the proof that packaging works. You, right now. You're watching this video because the packaging worked for you. Think about it for a second. A little while ago, you maybe saw 100 videos and yet you chose to click on this video. At the back of this were just two decisions. You thought this would be interesting and you clicked on the video. You had no idea if the video was going to be good. You just had a feeling, and that feeling was enough for you to click on the video. This feeling is what we call as packaging. By the time this video is over, you will get enough information that you can make other people come to your video as well. But getting the click is just half of the battle. There's something that business owners must do after getting the click to make sure that they remain in this game in the long term. We'll talk about this by the end of this video. Right now, let us try to understand what is packaging. In order to understand packaging, imagine that you are in a supermarket. You are walking down the aisle and you see the section with cereals. Now, in front of you are 40 different cereals and you have to choose one. Now, imagine that you haven't eaten any of the cereals that are in front of you and still you have to choose one cereal. How will you make that decision? If you are like most people, you will make that decision by looking at the box, by looking at the different colors, maybe by looking at the text. Maybe it says that it is very healthy, maybe it says that it has 10 grams protein, maybe it says it has no sugar. It could be a variety of criteria for you that will make you decide which cereal do you want to go with. But the important thing is, in order to make that decision, you never tasted any of the cereal. You made that decision based on just the outer box. So it was actually the box that made the sale. The cereal actually never got the vote. The other 39 cereals that you did not choose could have been way better in terms of taste, in terms of nutrients, in terms of health benefits, but still you chose one just based on the box. That's the power of packaging in normal products. The same applies to YouTube. Your video is the cereal which will get watched only if the packaging of the cereal is nice, or in this case, if the packaging of the YouTube video is nice. So you can make the best video in your niche, but if the packaging is not good, your video will keep on sitting in the aisle just like those cereal boxes and people will keep on passing by without even having a look at it. That's why packaging matters so much. Even before people know how good your video is, you have to make sure that people first come to your video and click on it in order to find out how good or bad your video actually is. Now the next question is, what is packaging on YouTube? Most people will say that it is two things, thumbnail and title. For most people, title and thumbnail is something that if they work on just these two things, they will be good to go. But if you want to be really correct about things and you want to really geek out the details, it's actually 8 things. The first two you already know, it's the title and the thumbnail. They do most of the heavy lifting. Then there are 6 more. There's the length of the video, the view count, the upload date, the channel name, the profile picture, and then there's that little clip that starts playing when you hover your mouse over the video. The interesting thing is that the viewer is not checking these 8 elements one thing at a time, that, oh, let me first read the title of the video, oh, let me see the length of the video. It actually all happens at the same time in one glance and it all takes less than 1 second. So if you have to crack packaging, you have to actually crack how does a viewer actually make a decision? How does a viewer take these 8 elements and make a decision to watch one video out of 100 videos? So now in this section, we will try to understand how does a viewer actually make that decision. Let us try to understand it with another example. Imagine an exclusive club. It's the best club in town. Outside are hundreds of people all trying to come inside. But the club is small. It only has so much room inside. They cannot let everyone in. They will only let the most premium VVIP people inside. So the club gets a big bouncer, a kind of a gatekeeper, to stand outside of the club and make sure that only the most important people get to come inside. Now, to make his job easy, the gatekeeper sets up 3 doors. And these are not ordinary doors, these are special doors. These doors are installed in such a way that a person has to fulfill certain criteria to get inside each door. Moreover, you cannot reach the second door before passing the first door. Similarly, you cannot go to the third door without passing the second door. And the criteria get harder with each door. are. Each one of these criteria turn most of the people just outside. They just go back because they know they cannot enter inside. Only the best people who can fulfill all the criteria get to go into this exclusive club. Let me connect this example now to real life because everything means something. The bouncer or the gatekeeper outside the club is the viewer's brain. The big crowd outside, all of these numerous people all trying to come inside, these are the hundreds of videos that the viewer sees every day. And the club itself, the room with limited space, that's the attention span of the viewer. There's only so much space in it and not every video gets the chance to be watched. So, if you are a creator and you create any video, your video has to pass through all these three gates in order to finally get into the attention of the viewer. If you miss any of these three doors, no matter how good your video is, it will not get watched. What are these three doors? These are shock, interest, and pull. Let me walk through each of these three doors in detail. The first door is called the shock. As the name suggests, the shock door will only allow those videos to pass whose packaging stuns the eyes of the viewer. Your viewer's brain has watched hundreds of videos today. It's tired, it's bored, and it's actually looking for reason to avoid any such video. So, the shock door opens only when the eye of the viewer notices something that is different than anything out there. And this all happens even before the brain has read anything. It doesn't care if the topic is interesting or not. It just cares if it is visually stimulating for the brain. On the cereal box, this shock factor could be given by how different the design of the packaging is as compared to other packages. On YouTube, this is governed almost entirely just by the thumbnail. It is all about what scientists like to call visual saliency, or how your eyes are yanked at something that stands up. For thumbnails on YouTube, this could mean different things, but the most common ways are using high contrast thumbnails with bold colors, or using a face caught in a real strong expression. Sometimes it could just mean using something aesthetic. The one thing which you should always want to try to do is to do something different than what people are already doing in your niche. Of course, it should look good. Of course, it should have bright colors, but try to make it as different as possible from your current niche. By the way, if you want to learn how to make thumbnails that can pass through the shock door, comment thumbnail below and I'll make a video entirely about this topic. And that's the whole first door. It's all about shock. It's all about getting that visual stimulus. It's all about getting yanked by standing out from what is out there. And most of the videos, the huge majority of it, they fail just about here. They don't even pass the first door of creating enough visual curiosity for the brain. But let us assume that you did create a thumbnail that did pass through the first door, that is the shock door. What happens next? Now that you got the attention of the brain is asking, is this video for me or not? Does it have something to do with me or not? Let's take the example of cereal again. Let's say that you are into fitness. As you're scanning through all the different boxes of the cereal, you read in one of the boxes, high protein, zero sugar. Next to that is another cereal that says chocolate flavor. For you, the choice is obvious. You'll take the cereal which says that it has more protein and zero sugar. But for a child standing next to you, his priorities will be completely different. For him, protein doesn't matter anything at all. He will be focused on getting the one with the chocolate flavor. YouTube works the same way. Let me give you another example. A video called How to Study Less and Get Higher Grades pulls in students. A video called How Startup Equity Really Works pulls in founders. Almost nobody watches both of these videos at the same time because nobody is a student and a founder at the same time. And that is completely fine. People are inherently different and they are beautiful like that. Different topics attract different kinds of people. To go through door 2, all the 8 elements work together. The thumbnail, the title, the length, the view count, the upload date, the channel name, the profile picture, the hover preview, all of them together give the viewer a gut feeling if the video is for him or not. Maybe they are only interested in gardening videos. Maybe they only watch videos that are longer than 20 minutes. Maybe they only watch videos that are fairly recent. All of these 8 elements send small signals which together create a big signal that tells to the person if the video is for them or not for them. So how do you use this tool as a creator? You essentially make a choice. You can package your videos to make it feel like it is for a huge broad audience, or you can package your videos to make it feel like it is for a select few target group. It's like aiming a sniper instead of a shotgun. Neither of the method is wrong, but you as a creator should know what are you trying to achieve. This is exactly the decision that I help make brands and creators alike. I help people make this decision because for business owners it gets very real at this turn. You have to be very sure to whom are you targeting. There's a big difference in packaging that pulls in a million random viewers versus packaging that pulls in targeted 5,000 views, out of which 10 people could be your actual future clients. If you are struggling with this, I have the first link in the description for a free strategy call. Okay, so your packaging struck the eye at the first door and it felt relevant at the second door. Now what next? The viewer is interested in the video, but being interested is one thing and getting the click out of it is another thing. Viewer can be interested in a lot of topics, but it takes a special skill to making that interest convert into a click. This is the third door. This door is called the pull door. You are essentially pulling the viewer into clicking on the video. And this is the most powerful door of all the three because this is where actually the click happens. So how do you actually pull someone in? You use strong human emotions that are wired so deep in us that the viewer feels compelled to click on the video. There are 4 tools to this door, 4 tools with which you can get inside. These 4 tools are gap, threat, gain, and identity. Let's go through each one of the tools because all of these 4 tools are equally important. Let's start with the gap. Gap is when the brain notices that a piece of information is missing and it cannot stand it. It needs to close that gap. Let's understand it with an example. Let's say that it's Friday and you are working as an employee and you have a boss and your boss tells you, I have something important to tell you and I'll tell you on Monday. Now your whole weekend is ruined. You'll be thinking, oh my god, is it going to be something good? Oh my god, is it going to be something bad? This gap will be created inside you and you will feel very uncomfortable. The same gap can be created on YouTube as well when the title and the thumbnail, they open a gap and leave it open till the viewer decides to close the gap by clicking on the video. Something like, I deleted social media for 3 years concerning results. Your brain immediately goes, wait, what happens when somebody goes off social media for 3 years? There is a gap and the only way to close the gap is by clicking on the video. It's a really strong pull, almost like hunger. Gap is also one of the most flexible tools because you can use it for almost any situation. But that flexibility is also the danger because people overuse it all the time. It can sometimes turn it also into a clickbait. The next tool to pull somebody in is called threat. Threat works by making the viewer feel aware that something that the viewer already has is at risk. Maybe the viewer has time, money, status, and it is at risk because of something. People hate losing something more than gaining something. That is why this tool is incredibly powerful. A title like Horrible YouTube Upload Mistakes That Kill Small Channels will outperform How to Grow Your YouTube Channel from 0 subs almost every time because one video threatens a loss while the other video offers a gain. Talking about gain, this is the third tool. It's just the opposite of threat. Instead of scaring someone, you just show them what they want, what could they want, how could they achieve something, maybe a transformation. On YouTube, that's something like my favorite marketing strategy for getting clients in 48 hours, free and proven. The only catch with gain is that the thing that you're talking about should actually be of some value to somebody who might be watching your video. But the good thing is that no matter where you stand, there are always so many people who would rather wish to be in your place. So talk about your wins and you can use the gain tool to pass through the third door. Finally, the last tool is called identity. This one pulls in people from the same age group, country, religion, ethnicity, profession, background, their beliefs. Whenever the viewer gets a feeling that this video is made directly for them, the viewer is pulled in to click on the video. An example of this kind of video on YouTube could be Brit reacts to first US national anthem at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, which by the way is not only pulling in the Britishers but also the US citizens chance to see the reaction. Till now, we've discussed the 4 tools with which one can pull the viewer to click on the video. But let's go even deeper. Each of these 4 tools actually come with a lot of flavor. Imagine like these 4 tools are like the basic colors of red, green and blue. You can have different shades of red, green and blue and you can mix things together. The same thing is about these 4 tools. There are different shades of these 4 core human emotions. Let me walk you through some of these flavors because now you will understand how to actually use psychology to make your packaging better. By the way, my clients pay me thousands of dollars just for this information. So if you like what I am providing, consider liking the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's start with the flavors of gap. We already know that gap happens when there is some information missing in the mind of the viewer. What are the different flavors? Some of them are curiosity, confusion, and morbid fascination. Curiosity is the gentlest one. It feels like an itch that the viewer actually enjoys scratching. On YouTube, it could be something like, these 59 seconds will change your life. You just want to click on this video and you want to listen what will happen in these 59 seconds. How will my life change? Confusion is just the rougher brother of curiosity. On YouTube, when you see a title like doctor hasn't showered for 5 years, along with its thumbnail, it doesn't make any sense. Why would a doctor not shower for 5 years? So you click on this video because it is confusing and it makes the people uncomfortable. Morbid fascination is something when you look at the packaging and you feel something unpleasant, you feel that something bad is going to happen and yet you want to click on the video. On YouTube, it could be something like, I tested the worst rated restaurants. Now you already know what you are going to see. You will see some very unhygienic restaurants. That is why they are 1-star restaurants, but still you want to click on this video to see how bad the restaurants will be. That is why it deserved a click. That is how it pulls you in to click on the video. Moving on to the different flavors of the second tool called the threat. The 3 flavors that we will discuss are fear, FOMO, and urgency. Fear or anxiety is the core one. On YouTube, an example could be, stop writing your titles like this, it's killing your views. It works by naming the worry that the viewer already has. His videos are not performing, and this kind of packaging draws exactly these kind of viewers who are worried, who have anxiety, who have fear. FOMO is a more social version of the same fear. It's the worry that everyone else has already got a solution and I might be late to the solution. On YouTube, it could appear something like, why everyone is switching to Linux. It plays on the fear that everyone is switching their OS and I should as well. The third flavor is called urgency. Once again, the example on YouTube is, Claude just changed making YouTube videos forever. This kind of packaging suggests that I need to click on this video because something new has happened and I have to be the first in my group to come to this new piece of technology so that I can take advantage of it. Moving on to the flavors of gain. Some of them are desire, hope, and nostalgia. Desire is very straightforward. It is when the viewer thinks, yes, I want that. On YouTube, it could appear something like, how to grow your business so fast that it feels like cheating. Hope is a little different from desire. Desire is, I want that. Hope is, maybe I can also have that. It works through transformation stories and showing proof that you as an ordinary person also achieved something great in life. An example for that is, your first 1 million is simple. Here is how. It makes the result feel very reachable for an average person. And finally, there is nostalgia. Here the gain is a good feeling from the past that the viewer wants to feel again. On YouTube, it could be something like, growing up in the 1990s, we were the last to really live. Finally, we move on to the flavors of identity. Here we will talk about 4 flavors: belonging, validation, envy, and outrage. Belonging, as the name implies, has the packaging in such a way that it makes the viewer feel that the video is exactly for them. An example on YouTube is, this video will only find you when you most need it. Now, when you are feeling low, you might click on that video, and a lot of people actually clicked on this video. Hence, this is great packaging. Validation is when the viewer is actually feeling something, and then he sees the video that is describing the exact same emotion that he's feeling. An example of that on YouTube is, why just post consistently is terrible advice for experts. Now maybe there are some creators who posted consistently, didn't get the results, they will definitely click on that video. For envy, I think the name is self-sufficient. An example of that on YouTube is this 24-year-old makes $1 million a month renting supercars. Now, as great of an achievement that is, many people might still feel envious while clicking on the video. The final flavor is called outrage. For this flavor of identity, you want to talk about a contrarian take. On YouTube, it could be something like why Apple sucks. Now, Apple as a company is great, it has a lot of loyal fans, but it also has a lot of people who genuinely hate Apple. Now, if you make such a video with such a packaging, rest assured you'll get a lot of comments. You'll get comments from people who like your opinion and they will support you, but you will also get a lot of comments from people who don't like your opinion and they will diss you. But it will still get the clicks because it is such a polarizing topic. So till now we learned about the three doors: shock, interest and pull, and how your packaging needs to go through all of these three doors in order to earn the click. But do you remember at the very beginning I said that there's something even more important as a business owner than to just get a click? This is the most important part that you should do after getting the click. Let's get back to the cereal example one last time. Let's say the packaging did its job. You finally selected the cereal, you paid for it, you bought it home, you opened the box, you poured it in a bowl and you tasted it. Now either one of the two things will happen. Either it will taste as good as the box promised and you will eat it, you will like it, and next week when your cereal is over and when you are again going to the supermarket, there's a very high chance that you will choose the same cereal box again because you like the flavor. Or what can happen is you will taste the cereal and you will realize that you have been cheated. It doesn't taste at all like the packaging promised, and then you will think that, oh my god, I wasted all my money, and next time when you will go to the supermarket, never again will you try the product from the same brand, even if they come up with new flavors, even if the better flavors or more health conscious ones are actually better, you would have lost the trust in the brand. The same happens on YouTube. This is what I called the aftertaste. Earning the click is just one part of the equation. You have to make sure that after earning the click, the video is actually about what you're trying to show in the packaging. Never ever do unethical use of the packaging. Always try to make sure that whatever you are promising is actually there in the video. All games are fine as long as you can substantiate it with something in the video. If the video actually gives them what the packaging initially promised, the viewer will trust you a little bit more. There's a high chance that the next time they will see your video, they will click on your video again, and maybe eventually they might become a client of yours. But if the viewer feels cheated, if the viewer feels that the value was not there, that the promise was made but it was not delivered, their gatekeeper will remember that your videos are just on the show, but there's nothing of substance inside. So the doors aren't even the whole game. The whole game is to make sure that after you earn the click, you make sure that the trust in the mind of the viewer actually retains throughout the video, that the viewer doesn't feel cheated. At the end of the day, for any business owner, trust is the biggest currency. So while making a video next time, ask these two questions. Is my packaging good enough to pass through all of these three doors? And the second question is, if it passes through all the three doors, is my packaging making a promise that the video is actually delivering? If the answer is yes to both of these questions, congratulations, you made a great packaging of a video. Let me put the whole thing that we learned in one piece so that it stays with you. Packaging is how the viewer judges your video before they even watch your video, just like a person judges the packaging of a cereal before eating a cereal. It's made of 8 elements working together: the thumbnail and the title that do the heavy lifting, the length of the video, the view count, the upload date, the channel name, the profile picture, and the hover preview. When someone decides to watch your video, their brain runs your packaging through 3 doors, all in the same order. The first door is shock, which asks whether your packaging stopped their eye. The second door is interest, which asks whether the video feels like it's for them. The third door is pull, which is what actually turns them into somebody who clicks using the 4 tools. The 4 tools are gap, threat, gain, and identity, and each of these tools come with its own different flavors. After the click confirms, there is the aftertaste, which determines whether getting watched was actually worth anything, because a video that keeps its promise builds trust, and trust is the thing that pays. One last thing before you go, packaging gets you watched, but getting you watched once is never the goal. The goal is that people should watch you over and over again. They should realize that you are worth trusting and that you are the authority in your niche. I made a video on exactly this topic. It's linked over here. It's about how to gain authority on YouTube. It's the best video that you can watch after this video. See you in this video.